Yo, what up, y'all? Happy to have you back. David here from the Digital Essentialist. For my day job, what I do is I am a search specialist and I help people get found on Google. On this channel, we explore ways to use digital technology to make life simpler, make life easier, and to live more fulfilling lives both on and offline. The way I define digital essentialists are we are busy doing great work, and at the same time, we are having deep conversations and calmly engaging with our day-to-day. Before I get into the video, I just want to throw out the disclaimer or the little note. If you like and subscribe, or if you find this video helpful, please hit that like button below. It is really helpful for YouTube, all of that stuff, and helpful for me to know what is useful content. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to cover a special tool, a tool I absolutely love called Notion. If you've heard of Notion before, or you're just getting into Notion, this process right now, I'm going to show you how we manage tons of projects through Notion on a team. Currently, the team is 3 on these projects. We have about 5 or 6 people within this system, and we actually send these projects to clients through Notion as well, so they can engage with the projects through Notion too. Before we began with the system, we were managing projects in a very tedious way. Basically, project would come in, it would land, it'd have to get emailed and then sent to someone. The file would have to get attached. With every project, there's certain things that need to be said and known. All projects that were coming in initially were from one platform, so there was a whole nother line of communication there, and nothing was being organized. Now with Notion, what we use is we basically have a page set up with databases and scripts that we can use to manage from the beginning of the process to the very end of the process, the entire client journey. And so I'm gonna walk you through this Loom video that takes us through how we manage projects, the tools we use, and at the end of the video, I'm gonna walk through 3, you could call them hacks, I call them tips, that will help you really engage with Notion at a new level that will make life simpler, automate your process, and give you the ability to easily see where everything's at with just one look. Let's get into this. Okay, so now we are in Notion, and basically I'm gonna walk through what this is. You're looking at this. This is what we call main headquarters. So in our menu, you can see it's a page. It's a top of our workspace. And I'm going to tell you why that's important in a moment here. But main headquarters breaks down into 3 sections. You can see our workflow. Below that is open project list. And then below that is miscellaneous folders and documents. All of these are here for a reason, because it makes it really easy at any point. If I need to drag this page into miscellaneous, I can do that. If I need to drag this page into completed SEO projects, I can do that as well. Makes for a really easy process. So first thing I want to cover is we are using pages everywhere. You can't tell from just looking at this, but all of these are pages that link in with even more content. So here's our content roadmap. This is highly inspired by a lot of stuff I've seen on YouTube, specifically from Ali. But we have video content up here, we have written content here. Then in here, you'll see that as you click on something, you'll see that there's additional content in here as well. And then from there, if I go back to the home page, you'll see, let's see, scripts here. So these are our messages, and I'm going to walk through a little bit more of this. These are messages that we send to clients. Oftentimes they ask the same questions as they're in the process of coming on board. So this is a place where we can keep everything organized. This is our intro message. So you can see here, we have a whole table of content. You could say, oh my gosh, you made this, you set this up. No, it's literally just a few clicks. So if I do / and type in table of contents, you'll see it there. You just hit enter and it creates it. It creates it based on heading 1s, heading 2, and heading 3 headlines. And so you'll see there, I have heading 1, 2, and 3, sample, sample, sample. So as I type that, you see it showing up, heading 1, 2, and 3. And so it all organizes itself just like that. So I'm gonna get rid of that because we have all of it. But if we need to send a quote to a client, let's see, quote when sending, the message when sending a quote, boom, click on that. It's right there. It's literally right there. We could send it to the client, and there's just a ton of messages in here that are useful and easy to use so that things could be accessed. Even Loom videos, go in here really, really simply, which is real nice. Up here we have documents. I'll talk about document management in a moment, but we even have documents here that go to the client in this step of the process. Then from there, we have scripts for the actual work. So when we do the work, we have recommendations for the client. And so here are all the scripts we have. So if they have issues with their fonts, they have too many fonts on their site, these are things we could send to them to let them know. We don't have to rewrite it. This is a huge part of the process that helps us really manage our client process. So let me go back here. This really helps us make sure clients are satisfied, clients are finding what they need. At the same time, we're not having to rewrite everything every time. Do we finesse the messages for clients? Yes, because everybody asks a little bit different and their case is a little bit different. But for us, with all of this, it helps us keep everything organized in one space. Now we're getting to the good part. This is where we actually manage all our projects. So you'll see here, open project list. Here are the current open projects. I made this one as a sample that we'll talk about in a moment. And here it gives you these different views, right? So right now I have this setup view. There's a project due date view, calendar view, ready to send the client view. All of these give a really simple way for whoever is looking at this to navigate and see when things are due, what's coming up, what's outstanding. So when it's my turn to send a project to a client, when it's ready, I can just click on this one and it will show me what projects are ready to send to clients. We just finished sending projects to clients, so there's nothing listed here. If we need a calendar view, as simple as that, we just show that, and now it shows when projects are due. It's just perfect. And if you needed to change it, you literally could just drag it and change it. It's really, really intuitive. And so what I just changed right there is you'll see due date is August 21st, 2020. Now you might say, how do you control all this? Well, let me go back to this main outline. You'll see here, there are certain properties that are showing. We set these properties up. So it's basically the first time you do it, you just got to set them up the way you like. You could always add, subtract, but once you set them up, you're good to go. Another really cool part is, let me click on this page. So this is a template page that we have set up. You'll see I just want to point out right now, there's this little arrow and then there's this like title and then it goes into the page. Now let me show you something. So let me go back here. If I drag this into this open project list, would you like to remove sorting? Let me see. Oh, I just hit cancel. So if I click on this, you'll see now it adds all these features. And now all the properties of this table are now conjoined to this. Now, say I set these all up. So if I say type of project and I say 100-point checklist, you'll see that it is showing up here. Then when I drag it back out and I put it there, you'll see that it's gone. But if I drag it back in, we'll get the same message possibly. I'm just gonna hit cancel. You'll see it saved it. So it still has it attached. I love that, I love that. So if you ever make a mistake, not a big deal. You can easily drag it back in so you don't ever lose that information. For now, I'm gonna put it back where it started. So these are our open projects. And as we walk through this, you can see we have it set by a filter and to sort. You could use filters though to kind of walk through any part of the process. So let me go to like the ready to send to client. So this uses a filter and the filter is basically status is complete. You could do is not or something like that. But complete, haven't started, we created these three, so you just pick them and it automatically populates it. So it's very relational and it's very live, which is really exciting, really easy to manage as well. And so I'll go back here. And then as you are in here, you can see 100-point checklist W. Let me go to this one, the sample. So if I click on this, I add in the name, type of project. I could specify what type of project this is. So this is a jumpstart. I could then specify the due date, which I'll change to the 25th. This is just a check mark, making sure we have access to the back end of the website. Then we could assign it to someone on the team. As soon as it gets assigned to them, they get an email notification, which is great. So they know there is a new project. Status is here, so haven't started, in progress, complete, whatever the status is. It marks when it was created just for note's sake. And then finally, we actually have notes here. And so it'll walk through the different details, client information, client name, document. We also have the email here as well for clients. So just like that, we have everything created. Client project is completely managed in here. We have 3 types of projects: Jumpstart, 50-point checklist, 100-point checklist. We don't send anything in Notion for the Jumpstart, but we do for the 50-point or 100-point checklist. So as soon as we finish one of those, we actually give access to that page to the client, which is pretty cool. Now, in this, what makes this even better is if I need to create a new project, all I need to do is hit this little arrow, and we've created these templates. And so these templates here are literally the project in full. And I'll click on 100-point checklist. So what it'll do is you'll see at the bottom it's loading. As soon as it loads, it populates with all the data required. So we don't have to do anything for the actual project here. All we need to do is just fill in these main client details. And so the person managing the sales side of it will come in here, do the new project name, 100-point checklist. Then they'll go in, client name, hello, type, right? We just did this. They'll fill all of this in, check off a few boxes here. And now let me just add a few of these. And now, just like that, we have added the project. And so you'll see it here with this little paper icon. Now, on a side note, it's missing the icon and the header image because literally just recently, I think Notion just changed their system a bit. And so, or something's happening within our system. I'm not sure. Not the best time to record the video, but who cares? The icon and the image we have at the top here, which I'll show you right here, this image and this icon are not populating. So not sure why. We just emailed them. We're trying to figure that out right now, but it is something that we're working on. So then I could open this out as a page, and as a team member works on it, they'll fill in the key elements. These red items are just highlighting things that need to get done. And then here's our actual checklist of work. And so they'll come in and mark things off as it gets complete, and everything is within Notion. So once that's done, it gets marked as complete, which then shows up. So that is complete. And once that's done, I can come in here to review the project and I'll see it. I can come in and open it, review it, prepare for the client. And then when I'm ready, I just hit share and add contributor. And basically I can just add a contributor's email. And just like that, they have access to it. They could leave comments, they could dialogue with me, they could go through the whole process. It's a really simple process for someone to engage with. Plus it's an actual checklist, which is awesome. So there are 2 pieces that I would highlight. I would love to see Notion improve on. They make improvements all the time, but these are 2 things that are very much lacking right now, which is the ability to have a good flow of discussion and also file management system. So let me explain. Discussion, there are ways to have discussions on the page. It's hard to keep track of all those discussions in one place. So they do have ways of doing updates where, say, for example, on this page, I could add a discussion and then you could resolve it. And then in your actual notes, you could see like all updates, which then you'll see different discussion points here as you get brought into them. But it's hard to have a continuous conversation, a conversation similar to a Slack conversation or a conversation similar to an email chain. It's really hard to keep track of an overall conversation of projects. They do have tools built into here, but when you're managing different projects and things, it's just hard to picture it all or keep it in one place without looking through updates. And so we just never really found that useful. So we still do conversations through text messages. That helps us stay connected for any questions or things that do come up during the workday. The other one is going to be the file management system. As you can see here, there really is no file management system. When you upload a file, it uploads like this. And then if you click on it, what it does is it triggers your browser, downloads on your browser, and then you have it. That's okay, but it's not useful for scale. Similar to say Dropbox or something, when it's on your computer, you open it, you see the file, you open it, you edit the file, you save it, you close it. With this, anytime you make edits, you'd have to re-upload it. There's no management within the platform of these files, and it's hard to keep track of everything. So we manage all our videos within Notion. However, the actual video files, any audio, video, Loom files, we keep all of those within Dropbox with a link to Dropbox in Notion. So we don't actually upload. I've seen other people do that, but I've just never found it more useful to upload the content there, because then you would have to download it to your computer, then save it to its own file. It just gets really complicated. So file management is a bit of a struggle. Now, I'm gonna walk through 3 really good tips to make this process smooth. So the first tip is this: whatever your main page is, this overview page for your Notion setup, I would try to set it up as either the top workspace or set it up as favorites. Reason being is, if I drag this down here, on my keyboard, if I hit Command 2, because I have 2 workspaces, so you see here Command 1 and this is Command 2. If I hit Command 2, it takes me to whatever is at the top here. And so if I drag this back up, again, you could save this as a favorites. So let me bring this down. You'll see here favorites. You could set it up as favorites. I just have it as the top workspace. But because it's the top workspace, if I get lost, if I'm going through a few projects and I'm looking at projects and I'm taking a look at different notes and I'm somewhere inside a project and I just want to go back to the main page, I just press Command 2 and I'm there. I was actually doing that throughout the video. It took me back home immediately. So if I'm 3 or 4 pages in or just lost somewhere on Notion, it's really easy for me to get back to this main page. On top of that, what I've realized is you probably don't want depth more than 3. So I mentioned earlier you could have pages within pages within pages, which is great. But once you get beyond 3 layers, it gets really hard to mentally manage. Now, it's easy to manage in here. You can find anything, Command P, and you can search for it. So easy. Command P, you search the whole entire platform. You could search dates, you could search numbers, you could search words, and it's a really good platform on that side. But when it comes down to quick access, what I found is having the projects on this main page and then having the scripts on this main page means everything's within just 1 click. So if I'm sending a project to a client, say I'm sending this project to a client and I need one of the scripts, well, I just go from, let's say, the project. So if I click into a project, I'm there, and say I'm fully in the project, I'll just click Command 2, go back, click scripts, and then I'll have that right there to copy and go back and then send that to the client. So it's a really easy process. Once I go to level 3, things get a little bit deep. So we're working on this now, and this is new. The content roadmap is already a level 2, and then these are level 3. So you have the bio. This is where actually all the courses live, but this is where I'm trying to move this up 1 more layer. So the online courses are here, and once you click into this is where you get a breakdown of the actual courses. And in here, this is where all the course content lives. So when I build out a course, I'll just do part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever it is. Often it's 3 or 4 parts. And as I record the videos, I'll just check off a box and say it's done. I actually did that one this morning. So this part of the course is done. I'll go back and finish the other 2. But you'll see this is 4 layers in. So then I go back to the home page, works out. But a really good hack is just to try to figure out how to keep everything at 3 layers. And one way to do that is to really utilize the properties. So again, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to click new 100-point or 50-point checklist. These properties are so useful to organize, keep track of things, all of that. And as you go through, you just fill it in, and then as it's set up, you can easily just navigate where everything is at. Now, one thing I didn't mention yet in too much detail, what do we do when a project is done? Well, we could have a kind of completed box or final, like project is done box, and filter it so that it takes it off of the page. Totally possible. But another way we do that, because sometimes we need to access it quickly, is I just take the final project and I drag it into completed SEO projects. And then from there, once I'm in here, I can just scroll and you'll see it show up right there. And so just like that, I was able to store it away for future reference if I need it. And then also the client still has access to it, so they can keep it, but it helps me go through the project. So as soon as it finishes, it goes in order here. I just take it and drag it in and drop it there. I used to keep this down here, just right about there, and found it more useful to place it right there because as soon as I finish a project, I just drag it, drop it in. Just like that. And remember earlier I said that if you say drag one of these projects back into this database, this is a database on the page. Once you drag it back there, what it'll do is it'll auto-populate all that information again because it saved it. It didn't go anywhere, which is really useful. And now on to the final point, and this is probably the most important: trial and error. Honestly, this took us a few months to get used to and to get comfortable with. We've been using the system for a solid 2 months now and really love it. Everyone's able to get the data and information they need. Everybody's knows when things are happening, when things are due, when to schedule new due dates, all of that. It's all right here in Notion. Nobody is guessing. Everyone can see what is happening. It's a really clean system. But what I recommend is trial and error. Try it out. It may break, it may not work, try something new out. As you build, you start to learn more of what you need. This is probably the hardest part of building any business, is building the systems. And so as you take the time to do this part of it and clarify what is needed when, I spent a lot of time on the phone with my team members to find out what they needed, what they were looking for, what was missing. One example of that is we schedule projects to be due 3 times a week, 2 projects a day. So that means Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 projects are scheduled. But when you're in the process of scheduling projects, where do you keep track of those numbers? So as you'll see here, August 17th, there's 1 project, 19th, there's 1 project, and the 20th, there's 2. That means there's no additional projects scheduled on the 20th. And let's say the 22nd, I'm guessing it would be the 23rd because that looks like it could be a weekend. That would be the next day to schedule projects. So it's as easy as coming into Notion, looking at the dates there, and as soon as you see the dates, you know when the next due date is for the next project. Anyway, with that, I know that is a lot of information. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I will do my best to answer them. And if you have any other questions around Notion or just building businesses like this, digital businesses, please let me know. I'd love that. Also, if you like this video, if you found it useful, please like and subscribe, turn on that bell for notifications. I would so much appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video.